gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, shout around? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Thanks for joining us. Tonight, a devastated family is pleading for answers after a woman is shot and killed at a South Minneapolis apartment complex. Police are calling it a domestic-related incident, and no arrests so far have been made.
Woo! So, guys, we all know that during the holidays, domestic violence has an uptick of, if I'm not mistaken, about 30% uptick during this holiday season. So you definitely want to be aware of your partner, male or female, but typically, as you guys know, the assailants or suspects in these cases most likely are going to be men. And in these particular cases that I cover, they are black men. And what we're finding here is that a lot of these brothers are crashing out. They're crashing out completely, just full-fledged, you know, jumping off the ledge, crashing out, deleting their baby mama, deleting their girl, whatever. And this has become something that is a trend, and we're seeing it now more than ever. And then we're also seeing it cross over to other communities. Now, in the community, this is a norm, as we all know, that when it comes to black relationships, there's actually a 43% increase in domestic incidences ending in homicide. So that is not, you know, we're not on the good end of this data here, and of these data here, rather. And, you know, we're not really identifying that this is a real issue. A lot of these cases are being looked over. It's hard to get a lot of information. And that's why I like to bring these stories to you guys, because I know that they're not coming across your desk like they're coming across my desk. I mean, I see all of it. And I think that it's important to acknowledge these issues, maybe so that we can work toward a solution. But hey, man, it's pretty ruthless out here.
Jennifer Hoff is here with where things stand tonight. Jennifer.
Randy, according to a group working to end relationship abuse, Kesha Moore is Minnesota's 34th victim this year, 10 more than last year. At a time, those advocates say, when perhaps that's because there are fewer advocates to help, and the violence is just more severe.
At an apartment just west of Lake Harriet, in the usually quiet Linden Hills neighborhood, Minneapolis police say a domestic-related incident happened last night, leaving a 43-year-old woman dead, her live-in partner on the run.
She belonged to people.
Live-in partner. So guys, what you have to understand, and the ladies need to understand this too, do not ever move a man into your crib, and I would say vice versa for the man as well, unless y'all are genuinely married and have kids or something, because cohabitation, it just doesn't work. And we're starting to see this over and over again. See, our ancestors, or even our elders, our grandparents, grandma, granddaddy, they would call it, what y'all, do y'all remember the term they used to call it? Yeah, they called it shacking up. Shacking up. Look, you should have your own home, your own domicile, where you can set the rules, set the tempo, set the pace. In this case, she moved in this hobosexual, this super hobosexual gremlin into her crib. He probably didn't have no job. He probably wasn't doing anything to further himself or further the household. And she probably got fed up with it. She's a 43-year-old woman. You know, you would think that she learned her lesson by now, but obviously not. She gets fed up with it and she tries to kick him out. Now, that doesn't go over well, and it ends with him crashing out. These super hobosexual gremlins are on demon time.
And that impacts our communities.
The executive director of Violence Free Minnesota, a group working to end relationship abuse, says Kesha Moore was the state's 34th victim of intimate partner homicide, now nearing the record 37 deaths from 10 years ago.
How do we do this so we don't have any more deaths regarding that something that is 100% preventable? And we all feel it, whether we know this person or not.
In Moore's case, police say she was shot inside her apartment. Outside, there's now a memorial. Her sister telling me Moore was a pillar in the community and owned a business, even pleading online for more information about the man she says killed her. Care 11, though, not naming people not charged with the crime. While the
So she says, this is the sister. This man shot and murdered my sister. If you see him, hit me. Share this post. Woo! So this is serious. And here she is with the man. It looks like they had a child together. And it's not looking pretty, man. It is not looking pretty at all. Dude crashed out. He simply crashed the hell out. Took her life for whatever reason, we don't know. I think that my narrative is pretty accurate. You know, she gets fed up with him, whatnot. He's living with her. She tries to lay the law down, and it just doesn't work. Okay? We actually have more information on the sister. I'm actually on her Facebook page right now. So I just want to go through that and, you know, maybe we'll, yeah, I got a picture of Buddy who crashed out and whatnot. Very sad story here. Man, we'll go through the comments afterwards and look through this. But, you know, it sucks, man. It sucks.
with the crime, while the advocates
Trust your gut.
they continue providing support and remembering every victim for more than their death.
It's okay to start looking at your resources, having those on hand when you think something isn't correct or right.
Trust your gut. She says Minnesota, or rather violence-free Minnesota, does partner with more than 90 programs around the state, from shelters to legal advocates. We posted links to all of that, as well as several hotline numbers too, if you or someone that you know might need some help. Randy.
All right, thank you.
Were killed in an apparent case of domestic violence. The family of Kesha Moore is demanding justice.
Sunday night, Moore was found shot to death in her Linden Hills apartment. Now her boyfriend is facing charges for her murder. Paul Bloom is live in the newsroom after what was an emotional day for the victim's family. Paul?
Randy and Amy, Kesha Moore's family is reeling here. A large group of her loved ones showed up for the defendant's first court appearance today. Some driving into town from 3 hours away to be there for support. Tonight, they are asking themselves, how could someone so close be accused of causing so much pain?
And what you guys have to understand is the reason why he was able to do this is because he was living with her. He feels emasculated. That pressure builds up and you have an explosion of emotions. And most of the time, these are single mother raised men. They don't know how to express their emotions and they crash out. This is the absolute definition of a thug maxed alpha simp. I'll continue to say this. What is a thug max alpha simp? A thug max alpha simp is a brother, okay, black man in the community, and he is thug max. Now, what is thug max meaning? It means that he has all the thug max paraphernalia, kind of like the fit that I got on right now, you dig? But you guys see, you know, the Dewey, obviously not the Make America Great hat, but, you know, probably a Vikings hat or something like that, or, you know, to represent the city. The wife beater, sag in the pants, the Thug Max swag, okay? Neck tattoos, face tattoo, Thug Max swag. Now, this guy in particular, he doesn't have the face tattoos, but he has the demeanor of a Thug Max alpha simp. Now, why do I incorporate the word alpha into the phrase or the word, if you will? It's because he's a perceived alpha. Guys, you have to he's a perceived alpha in the community because he is thug max, and thug maxed black men are perceived alphas in the community, but in reality They are simps because they crash out over women or, even petty disputes like so. So he is indeed a thug maxed alpha simp, and he crashed out over a disagreement, argument, whatever, with this woman. Now, a lot of you guys would be like, man, why you talking bad about him, or why are you talking bad about this? I'm not really talking bad about the situation. I'm just giving you what it is, because these are the same guys. These guys who crash out, these thug max alpha simps, are the same guys who shame brothers for dating IR, who shame the passport bros, who shame, just black men who SYSBM, whatever. These are the same guys, the fake pro-blacks, the thug max guys. Oftentimes, there's overlap with the thug max and the pro-blacks. I mean, look at Brother Polite. As you guys can see, he, was charged with a sexual crime. He is a pro-black, but he is still thug max because he is committing these egregious violent crimes, so or sexual crimes, whatnot. So there's a lot of overlap with pro-blacks and thug maxing, because a lot of these pro-blacks used to be thug maxed, and then they reverted to pro-black, maybe due to prison time and converting to Islam, whatever. But this is a constant cycle that we see in the community, and what happens is he still has that thug max in him, but he's still pro-black. But what happens is the thug max overrides his pro-blackness, and that is what enables him to kill a black woman. So there you have it.
Everybody who came in contact with Kesha loved her. Her family loved her. She was a pillar in the family.
Kesha Moore's murder has shattered her tight-knit family just days before Christmas, as they hugged and held each other tight right after court on Thursday.
Kesha is a person who believes in giving back, and I'm devastated.
Deborah Moore explains she spent many, many years supporting and advocating for victims of intimate partner violence. And then for this to happen to her daughter, allegedly at the hands of longtime boyfriend Johnny Brown, she is numb.
Yeah, and I mean, that's another thing that is perplexing. A lot of the times, you'll have these women who are speaking up on social media in the comment section saying, black men do this, black men do that. These black men, are putting hands on women, or they're doing this, and they need to stop. But then they're going around and dating the same thug max men that they're complaining about. Why? Because the thug max overlaps with the pro-black. So she's going to be pro-black, and most black women are going to be pro-black. So she believes that, you can't be pro-black unless you date black, right? So what does she have available? What is readily available to her? Well, and this is no disrespect, but it's not like she's, some super bad Instagram chick who can get an NBA guy or something like that. No, she was overweight. That's just a reality, and not trying to disparage her, but she was overweight. So her options are going to be limited. And who are the men who are going to take on overweight sisters? Those are the thug max men. Why? Because their options are limited too, financially, socially, and you can go on and on and on. So this is how what you would consider an educated black woman who's pro-black and an advocate against domestic violence and whatnot, this is how they get caught up with the thug max, because maybe, a lot of it comes down to physical appearance and preference. I'm not saying it's just physical appearance, but a lot of it comes down to physical appearance and preference. I would say preference probably overweighs that, no pun intended, but that's the reality that we're dealing with. And if we're not going to confront it, then we're going to keep seeing the same thing happening over and over again.
What he did is, I can't even fathom the words to say it, okay? Because we opened up our hearts and our homes to him.
The 50-year-old Brown has a history of criminal convictions for assault and weapons violation.
Woo! And he has a history. These are the thug max super gremlins who are seeping through the cracks. History of weapons violations and violent acts. Guys, ladies, these women are not doing background checks, for one. And then they're glorifying the prison ninjas. They're glorifying the prison ninjas. Okay, I did a live stream on the brother who was doing a 30 to life bid, and the women were simping in the comment section for him. These, I don't know what it is, but like I said, Thug Max Alpha Simp wins in the black community, or the community, if you would like, you know. The Thug Max Alpha Simp is always going to win at the end of the day when it comes to sexual reproduction and whatnot. That's why you see these women with 2, 3, 4 baby daddies and all this stuff, kids by other men. It's because they're dealing with Thug Max men, these guys who come from prison and whatnot, and they're getting them pregnant. That's what's happening. I don't understand how you guys can't see it and how you're not putting 2 and 2 together. But the sisters are not doing background checks. They always love to say, oh, you picked wrong. You picked wrong. Well, if I was to say in this case, you picked wrong, it's not in good taste, right? Because a woman lost her life, but she genuinely picked wrong. And I'm sure she probably knew that he was coming off a bid. So she understood that this guy was bad news, and she still decides to date him. She still decides potentially to procreate with him. Guys, these are the men that black women are choosing, unfortunately. But if you're not one of these guys, you are going to be looked over unless you can, and I'm not advising anybody to do this, but if you can fake the Thug Max Alpha Simp persona, if you can fake the Thug Max Alpha Simp swag, you will be successful in the dating market in the black community. But if you don't, then you won't. Point blank, period. I don't care what these sisters saying. Well, you could. That's a lie. Y'all are not going for the quote unquote educated lames. Y'all are going for the Thug Max Alpha Simps, or the perceived Thug Max Alpha Simps. It is what it is. And that's why we have the highest rated domestic violence. I'm not omitting blame or taking away blame from the man. He is to blame 100%. However, you also do have to take responsibility when it comes to mate selection. And this guy already had signs. He had a prior criminal history, a violent criminal history. And you see the women overlook that because in their minds, black men are being locked up unjustifiably. But the reality is a lot of these brothers, most of these brothers, okay? And if you ever been to jail, if you ever been to prison, you know most of them ninjas did that shit. Point blank. There's no denying it. So most of these guys are not being locked up unjustifiably, but in the black woman's mind, that's what's happening. They locking all the brothers up. 1/3 of black men have felony charges, felony convictions, whatnot. They're thinking that a lot of it, or most of it, if not all of it, is unjustified. But the reality is most of it is justified. But in their minds, it is unjustified. Therefore, this man was wrong. Therefore, he becomes a victim in her mind rather than a perpetrator, rather than a super gremlin. Okay, so that's the pathology. That's the psychology. And that is why we continue to have to do stories like this over and over and over and over and over again.
As well as a half dozen or so orders for protection filed against him.
Orders of protection filed against him. 2001. He was beating bitches. 2018, he's knocking hoes out. 2019, twice, knocking hoes out. 2021, slapping bitches. And she ends up getting with him after all of this evidence. I don't know what to tell you. The man has a 20-year criminal history of beating up women, doing the most, probably stalking them, threatening them, all types of shit, and you still decide to get with him. I don't get it.
He's accused of shooting Moore in the head in the apartment they had shared in Linden Hills on Sunday night.
Woo!
According to court filings, Moore lied to authorities about what happened, claiming Moore pulled the gun out first, then blaming alcohol and an escalating fight over his supposed cheating. Moore made a brief appearance before a judge in the public safety facility.
Damn, so she confronts him about cheating and he crash out and deletes her. And what a lot of these sisters don't know, these men, a lot of these guys, they're cheating with guys that they linked up in prison with. This is getting deep, y'all. In Hennepin County, this is the same county of Derek Chauvin and George Floyd. You see things are heating up in Hennepin County, and it's not for the better.
where Moore's family wanted him to see her face on their shirts as a reminder of the beautiful soul he's accused of stealing from all who loved her.
Our pain, our agony, our suffering, not good at all. We want justice for Kesha. We want the max. We want the max. Long live Kesha.
And important to note here, Johnny Brown remains in the Hennepin County Jail tonight with bail set at $1.5 million. His next court date is in about a month. Kesha's family telling me they will be at every single upcoming hearing to make sure Brown understands the consequences of his alleged actions and that he goes to prison in the end for a very long time. We're live in the newsroom. Paul Bloom, Fox 9.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time. All right, guys, so we are on the sister of the late Kesha's Facebook profile. And, you know, I don't want to go too crazy, but here is the picture that was on the news. This is Johnny Brown, the man who deleted her, the man who had all those orders of protection against him. And presumably this is their child. It looked like she was down for him. Okay? People saying Buddy looked familiar, all this stuff. All right, she's exposing him on Facebook. All right. So let's keep going. See if we can find, here's a, I guess the candlelight visual. What the hell is it? Was she Native American? What is this chant? Yeah, that's wild. I've never heard a chant like that. Unless he's Native American or something. This is insane. So let's just read some of the updates from the sister. Happy holidays, family and friends, as we mourn the tremendous loss of Kesha Moore. Please hold your loved ones close. Kesha's homegoing service. Okay, that's information about the homegoing service. All right. In this time, I focus on my mom, my sister's kids, my sister's arrangements, and the family. I'm not posting plans on Facebook. So if I don't have you in this group chat, I'm making today find a person who you know who has been to my house this week. I will not write anyone individually. It takes too much time away from what we got going on. If you want to be in the group chat, please send me y'all number to be kept in the loop. Otherwise, once arrangements, Okay, so these are updates. Ah, man. I mean, you just hate to see it. The Thug Max Alpha Simp crashes out again. I've been warning about the Thug Max Alpha Simp persona. And people just write me off. They think I'm crazy. They think I hate myself. They think I hate black men. They think I hate black women. But if you don't heed to my warning, you can end up just like Kesha, especially when all the signs are there. There's documentation. There's paperwork that this man is no good. As you guys can see, he crashed out over an allegation, over an argument. And this just proves my point that the Thug Max Alpha Simp is one of the biggest dangers to the community that we could have ever seen. These super homosexual gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.